Okay, we're coming back here, and we're going to have all these eventually lined up, but I'm going to show you just how you started out. So the next thing we have to do is, if we look down here, it's going to tell us where we're spaced. So if you look on the board, we have a dark and a light. So from where the dark and light meet, we're going to measure over 1/8 of an inch, and then we're going to measure a 1/2 inch. So I will show you. So once again, it's very hard to measure from the end because you have this metal here to see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this, a little trick. I measure and I put a whole number, it happens to be 5, and I'm going to measure 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 is 2/16, so I'm just going to put a mark. There's 1/16, 2/16 is 1/8 of an inch. Put a mark there, and I'm going to come down to the other side. 1/16, 2/16. Now, it would be hard to measure each one of these little lines. So I'm going to show you a little trick. And I'm going to actually introduce not necessarily this as a saw, but this is going to be a straight edge. We're going to use this edge because it's nice and straight. And all I'm going to do here is carefully, be careful when you grab this end, and I'm just going to lay it down. Line up that little black mark and that little black mark, and we're just going to draw a line down. And you can see this line coming down, and now if I look at it, I can see there's going to be a hole drilled there, a hole drilled there, a hole drilled there, a hole drilled there, and a hole drilled there. So it keeps a consistent line all the way down. So I do the same thing. So the next thing, I said there was a 1/2 inch spacing between it. So again, I'm going to start at a whole number. Here's 2. I'm going to go to 2.5. Do the same thing here. Start at a whole number, 2. There's my line. I go to 2.5. Again, be careful when you grab the saw. And we're just going to make another straight edge coming down. Line it up, line it up. Right there. And we have a hole right there, a hole right there, hole right there, hole right there, hole right there. And don't forget about the 2 starting pegs. There. And we continue going all the way across if we had it marked out. You do it on both sides. Just, it's a mirror image, so you'd measure 1/8 here, a 1/2 inch there. We'd make the 2 construction lines. Last thing we have to lay out is, if you look here on this board, we have a couple places where we need to store our pegs. So we're going to mark where these 2 holes are, and that is right here. It's a halfway point. Here's the center line, so that tells me that's the center of this object. So this is measured at 2 inches up because it's right at the center line, and it goes in. Okay, if you look, it goes in. Again, that should say 2 1/4. I didn't change that, so that's 2.25 or 2 1/4. It will say 2 1/4 when we see this online. So I measure in 2 1/4 on both ends, 2 1/4, and then at 2 inches in, and that's going to be our line here. And then I measure the first one, and the second one is a 1/2 inch in. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to take my tape measure. Okay, we said that it was 2 1/4, and look we have a line right at 2 1/4 already. That's nice. We also said it's going to be at 2 inches. So there it is, right there. There's the first peg, and then we're going to measure again a 1/2 inch. So I like to go to the whole number because the ends are kind of goofy, and I put another mark there, and I have to go 2 inches in, and you can see this is my hole. So I'm going to do that there and that there. 2 inches in, 2 1/4, and 2 1/2. Or I'm sorry, 2 3/4. Then you would mirror and do the same thing on the other side. Okay?